In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this bubbly soda logo. To begin with, you're going to open Illustrator and create a print document. I'm going to title this Soda Logo and my name. And double check that the size is set to letter and then click OK. The first thing that I'm going to do is check to make sure that my colors for the fill is black. Right now it's white, so I'm going to change that by opening this menu and clicking on black, and the stroke needs to be set to none, so I'm going to open this menu and set it to none. I'm going to grab the text tool and choose a nice simple font, something like Myrid Pro, and I'm going to change it from regular to bold and make it a really large size, like 150 points. Now I'm going to go down here and click in my document window and write the word soda in all caps. I'm going to switch to the selection tool and convert this from text into an object. To do that, I'm going to go to Type, Create Outlines. So this used to be text, but now you can see by creating outlines it has all of these anchor points on it, which has converted this into shapes instead of type. I'm going to select the Direct Selection tool and click off of soda to deselect it, and then click each letter one at a time and use the arrows on the keyboard to scoot them closer together so that they're overlapping. You can just use your judgment on this and do what you think looks good. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is take this cross piece on the A out and replace it with a bubble. Using the zoom tool, I'm going to draw a box around the A so that I can see clearly what I'm doing. I'm going to take the pen tool and make sure that it's set to the top pen tool. So click and hold on it and make sure that it's the top selection. I'm going to temporarily change the color of the fill to blue so that I can see more clearly what I'm doing, and I'm going to click on this part of the A and follow down here. I'm basically drawing a trapezoid that covers the cross piece, and I'm going to make the beginning point and the end point touch so that this is a complete path. Now I'm going to get the Direct Selection tool again, the white arrow, click on the blue trapezoid, hold down Shift, and click on the A. Now I'm going to open the Pathfinder panel. The Pathfinder panel is not one of the defaults here on the side, so I need to go to Window and click Pathfinder to open it. So here it is, and I'm going to click the second button over, which is called minus front. So you can see that that just chopped off that piece of the A, but it left a little bit of a jagged line here. So what I'm going to do is go back to the pen tool, click and hold on it, and grab the third one down, which is the Delete Anchor Point tool. And I'm going to go along, leave the top one, but I'm going to delete all of these extra anchor points, leave the bottom one here, but delete these anchor point tools. And notice some of them, I'm having to click on them more than once, so a couple of times before they will finally disappear. Alright, so now this line is nice and cleaned up, very straight. Next thing I'm going to do is create the bubble to be the cross piece on the A. I'm going to select the ellipse tool, which is grouped together with the other shape tools. It's the third one down on the list. I'm going to hold down Shift on the keyboard, which will constrain the ellipse tool to a perfect circle. So I'm holding down Shift. I'm also going to hold down the space bar so that I can move the circle around to where I want it. So I'm going to say right there looks good. Now what I'm going to do is go to Object, path, offset path. And I get the offset options here. I'm going to click preview. The default is 10 points. What that did is added a 10-point line around the outside, but that's not what I want. I want to cut out the interior part. So I'm actually going to put a minus sign in front of this and uncheck preview and recheck it so I can see what that did. And I think I want it to be a little bit smaller, so I'm going to change it to 13. Uncheck preview, recheck it. That looks pretty good right there. Click OK. So the interior is selected. I'm going to go get the white arrow, which is the direct selection tool, hold down shift and click the exterior circle. So with both circles selected at the same time, I'm going to go back over to the Pathfinder panel and click the second button again, which is minus front. So what that did is cut the center out of the middle of that circle. So with the circle selected, I'm going to hold down shift and click on the A. So now both the A and the circle are selected. This time what I'm going to do is click the first button, which is the Unite button. So now that has created one single shape out of those two objects. So on the keyboard, I'm going to go ahead and push Control minus a few times to get my object to fit back in the window all in one piece. So the next thing that I'm going to do is take this letter O and I'm going to replace it with a big bubble. So I'm just going to click on the O and push delete. I'm going to go back and get the ellipse tool, hold down shift on the keyboard to constrain it to a perfect circle, and I'm going to drag a circle on here. I'm holding down the space bar so that I can move the circle around where I want it. And I think that looks good right there. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the cross piece on the A to cut the center of this out. So I'm going to go to Object, Path, Offset Path, and put on Preview. 13's not enough. Let's try something like maybe 25. And let's preview that. How about 23? And preview that. Okay, that looks good. So now the interior circle is selected. I'm going to get the direct selection tool, the white arrow, hold down shift, and select the other circle. Over here in the Pathfinder panel, I'm going to click the second button over, minus front, and there I have a nice bubble instead of the letter O. Now what I want to do is add a few more bubbles kind of floating up off the top of this bubble. So rather than redraw more bubbles, I'm just going to copy this one. So I'm going to, with the bubble selected, I'm going to hold down Alt on the keyboard and just drag off a copy. Now I'm going to switch to the black arrow, which is the selection tool, hold down shift to constrain it to a perfect circle, and I'm going to make this bubble maybe right here. I'm going to hold down Alt, pull off another copy, make this bubble maybe right here, perhaps just a little bit smaller. I'm going to hold down Alt, drag off another copy, make a little bubble floating way up here at the top, a little bit off center. Use my arrow keys, move it around where I want it. Okay, it looks pretty good. Let's see. Alright, so I've moved those bubbles around the way I want them. Now I'm going to merge them all into one object. So I'm going to click the bubble, switch to the white arrow, click all of the bubbles, and on the Pathfinder tool, I'm going to click Unite. So now that's one shape. I'm going to refine the S a little bit. I want to make the curve of the S follow more closely the curve of the bubble. So I'm going to click on the S with the direct selection tool, which is the white arrow. I'm going to grab this anchor point. Oops, let's try that again. Control Z. So just this anchor point. There we go. And I'm going to pull it down so that it more closely follows the edge of the bubble. And I'm going to take this handle here and maybe curve that just a little bit more. I'm going to click off of it. Yeah, I think that looks much better. Next, I'm going to select all of the pieces and click Unite so that they're all one object. Now I'm going to change the color. So with the object selected, I'm going to go for kind of a lemon lime soda. So I'm going to change it to this kind of yellow-green color. And then I'm going to take this one little bubble up here that's escaped at the top and with the black arrow and select it. Oh, shoot, white arrow. And select it and change it to maybe a little bit of a darker green. There we go. So that is my finished product. You should save this to the correct folder so that you're sure to get credit, and you should do another logo of your choice, something that also maybe incorporates some bubbles or effervescence. Perhaps you could do a logo for something like Go Fish, soap, bubbles, maybe yellow submarine, the word pop, the word balloon, lollipop, popcorn, up, anything that makes you think of bubbles or effervescence. So have fun, choose whatever colors you like and whatever font you like, and make sure that you save your project so that you get credit for it. That's all for now.